Welcome to Jury Management. We focus on the one thing all winners have in common: how to manage a jury. This episode, after our premiere episode, we're going to talk about my first gut reaction thoughts on the people of the first episode, and maybe we'll be able to assess what they look for in a potential winner. Treat me as a juror. How do you get me on your side? I think we'll look at it that way and go through each of the cast list. Before we get started, though, let me introduce my co-host. This is Big Brother ChatGPT. Introduce yourself, sir.
Here's a clean co-host intro you can drop right in. I'm ChatGPT, and I'm here for one thing: cutting through the noise. I'm not watching for who's loud, who's funny, or who gets the most screen time. I'm watching for who can actually win. That means social awareness, timing, perception, and most importantly, how they're going to be judged at the end. Because here's the reality. You don't win Big Brother on finale night. You win it in the weeks leading up to it, when people start deciding how they feel about you. So while you give the gut reactions, I'll break down how those players are likely to be seen by a jury, what mistakes they're already setting up, and what they'd need to do to actually get my vote. Let's get into it. If you want it sharper, harsher, or more playful, say the word.
Okay, first up, let's move on. Let's get into this and hit our cast. Okay, so it looks like Ashley will be up first for us. This is, let me tell you about what I thought of Ashley. She really, didn't give me much on the opening credits. And I'll be honest with you, she hasn't given me much here either. Her name is Ashley Trail, and she's going to come on. She knows the game of Big Brother, but she wants people to uh, believe that she is airheaded and uh, not someone to take, lightly, or not someone to be threatened by. More so, uh, but she sees herself as a big time manipulator. She didn't do herself any favors in the intro, but in the first episode, she played into that. So, I mean, she's at least trying to stay in character.
Good. There's something to work with there. Here's the jury read on Ashley. Initial perception. If she comes off as not giving much, that's dangerous. Jurors don't reward players they didn't feel. The I'm airheaded on purpose angle is fine in theory, but juries are brutal about this. If they don't see the switch flip, they assume there was no switch. Core risk. She's setting up a classic losing argument. Open quote, I was secretly manipulating the whole time. Close quote. If the jury didn't experience that manipulation, it sounds like revisionist history. What she's doing right. Staying in character early is good. Consistency builds trust in the house. Lowering threat level buys time. What she's doing wrong so far. No visible agency. No moments where she drives anything. If she hides too well, she becomes irrelevant instead of underestimated. What she needs to do to win your vote as a juror. At least 2 to 3 clear, undeniable moves that people can point to. Flipping a vote, influencing a target, controlling information, and she needs witnesses. Jury validation, private strategy. Bottom line, right now she profiles as early game safe, mid-game expendable, end game. Why is she here finalist if she doesn't pivot? If she wants to win, she has to transition from invisible to intentional before jury starts. Otherwise, she's not a mastermind. She's background. Next one, keep it moving.
Okay, let's keep it moving. After Ashley, we have Barrett Pfeiffer. Barrett Pfeiffer. He came into the house very low key, which I like because he's so physically imposing at 6'6". He's also a super fan, probably the biggest super fan that's ever played a Big Brother. Apparently, he's as a someone who has done podcasts on Big Brother and is a live feed watcher from the beginning. So someone like this is hard to watch, but as we know from the returnees, Angela in particular, he's enamored by Angela, and someone like this will want to work with someone like her. It depends on if she wants to work with him. And he does give Quinn vibes, and Quinn and Angela did work together until Angela didn't want to work with Quinn anymore. So we don't get a lot on episode 1, but Barrett, dangerous in that he knows the game. Uh, I don't know how he'll blend with everyone, and he was somebody who did not even get an opportunity to go for safety. As he, out of the 14, 2 people were eliminated from competing, and he was, in fact, one of them. So that's what I have to say about Barrett. He is doing what he can to keep a low profile.
Barrett's profile is clearer than it looks. Initial jury perception, superfan plus low-key reads as competent but watchful. At 6'6", the physical presence undercuts the low profile. Jurors clock that as latent threat, not harmless. Core risk over awareness. The biggest superfans often play the idea of Big Brother instead of the room they're in. If he latches onto a known quantity, like Angela, jurors may tag him as a follower with good taste, not a driver. What he's doing right. Not forcing himself into the episode early. Managing optics. He's not peacocking knowledge or strategy. What he's doing wrong so far, no visible relationships or anchors yet. Didn't compete for safety. Quiet edit can become non-factor energy if it persists. Jury pathway, how he gets your vote. Convert knowledge into timely influence, not lectures. Be the guy who predicts outcomes and nudges them, connects people who wouldn't naturally connect, and takes one clean shot when it matters. Crucially, he needs others to credit him. Self-credit at the end won't land. Red flags to watch. Over-aligning with a returnee becomes shield number. Explaining the game to people. Instant jury irritation. Waiting too long arrives at jury as smart, but where were the moves? Best case arc, quiet integrator early, mid-game connector, late-game decisive strike with receipts. Bottom line. Right now, high ceiling, high risk of being outplayed by the room if he plays textbook. If he adapts to people instead of the blueprint, he's dangerous. If not, he's a well-informed juror. Next.
Next, okay, let's dive right on in after Barrett, and let's move on to Chuck. Let's see, Chuck Enianwu is from Texas. He's the cowboy of the season, and he won safety this week. Not only did he qualify, but he was one of our safety winners. He was able to build the 2 plank bridge across from one side to the other. That's not a easy task. He did it. He did it well. He's got safety. He doesn't have much to worry about. He has a chance to let his natural charm or whatever come through and see where a social game does take him. He claimed to have a big social game, so we'll see where it takes him. And it only helps to have a week of known safety to give you that ease of getting to know the rest of the house.
Chuck's in a strong week 1 leverage spot. Safety plus comp win buys him freedom, but it also paints a faint target. Initial jury perception, cowboy plus comp win equals capable, straightforward, likable if he's genuine. Early safety reads as earned, not lucky, baseline respect. Core risk, early visibility creep. If he leans into the win too hard, he becomes the guy who can win stuff before he has insulation. The big social game claim, jurors will hold him to it. If they don't feel it, it turns into overpromise. What he's doing right, using safety as a buffer to socialize without fear. Not needing to scramble, can choose relationships instead of defaulting into them. What he's doing wrong, potential, treating the week like a vacation. Idle time equals others form bonds without him. Overexposing his personality too fast, charm can turn into predictability. Jury pathway, how he gets your vote. Turn this safe week into relationship capital. 2 to 3 tight bonds across different clusters. Be the easy yes person people trust with small info. Later, convert compability into timed wins, not volume wins. Have clear moments of protection. Save an ally. Steer a target. That people remember red flags to watch. Bragging about the bridge win becomes a comp target. Locking into one group too early limits options when the house shifts. Surface level socializing, lots of handshakes, no real loyalty. Best case arc, week 1, social foundation. Mid-game, bridge between groups fits the metaphor. Endgame, a couple of decisive wins plus visible protection moves. Bottom line. Right now, good start with built-in respect. If he converts safety into relationships, not comfort, he's on a winner's path. If he coasts, he's just a likable early comp guy who gets cut once he's no longer useful.
And I'm not going to lie, I probably see him there only because he doesn't know the game of Big Brother. His family is casual watchers, and as a result, he's even less of a casual watcher. But, I mean, he has a good physique. He wants to win. He's obviously won the first competition. Uh, Lack of knowledge of the game may help him, but it could also hurt you. I'm interested to see where he goes. Let's move on to the next person. Drew Campbell. He gave, in the interview before going into the house, he gave me some, I wasn't too keen or high on him, but I think my opinion of him's changing. You know, I know he's already gotten on the nerves of Melody in the house, but you know, I think that he'll be okay. He seemed to be getting along with other people. If he can just dial it back a bit and just stay cool with folks, he should be okay. He's a big fan of the game. He sees himself not online with Barrett, but more online with Ashley, who's a big fan of the game. He was aware of who Rick Devens was and of who Angela was, who we'll talk about later. So, you know, and he's the youngest person in the house. It's curious to me to see how he's treated within the house, and if and when he's able to use his knowledge of the house, or you know, his knowledge of what he knows, uh, you know, as an asset. I wonder if his age will get in the way or hamper him. I'm hoping that he'll be mature enough to where it doesn't come into play. Tell us about Drew.
Drew's already showing you both sides of his game. Initial jury perception, young superfan who talks a little too fast, knows the game, needs to prove it. If he's rubbing Melody wrong this early, jurors clock that as social leak, not strategy. Core risk, coming in hot. Young players plus knowledge equals urge to demonstrate it. That creates early friction and the label smart but annoying. What he's doing right, he is connecting with multiple people. That matters more than one early conflict. Awareness of returnees shows he's not asleep at the wheel. What he's doing wrong so far. Already getting on someone's nerves at unforced error in week 1. Likely talking game too explicitly instead of letting it develop organically. Age factor. Age doesn't kill you. How others perceive your maturity does. If older players feel like they have to manage him, he loses equity fast. Jury pathway. How he gets your vote. Prove he can read a room, not just read a season. Show restraint. Fewer speeches, more listening. Fewer plans. More timing. Have 1 or 2 clean, visible decisions where people say that was Drew. Red flags to watch. Over-explaining strategy. Trying to align too quickly with fellow superfans. Ashley Barrett Lane. Getting labelled early. That label sticks all season. Best case arc. Early. Dial it back. Repair the Melody friction. Mid. Become a connector who understands everyone's incentives. Late. Reveal he's been steering more than talking. Bottom line. Right now, capable but at risk of overplaying his hand socially. If he slows down, he's dangerous. If he keeps pushing, he becomes the classic knows the game, can't execute it juror. Keep it moving.
Let's keep it moving indeed. Next up is Haley Thogmartin. Haley is very physically impressive. She is tall in stature and built like a tank. She gives me Mackenzie vibes. And I think that she'll be able to, show her stuff. She didn't necessarily win immunities or anything this time around, but I think that she'll be a player going forward. Socially, I thought that she might have problems, but the way so far, from what little I did get in episode one, it seems like she's, getting in good with, at least people she needs to get in good with. And I like that for her. Yeah, so I'm rooting for Haley. I think that she may not be the most charismatic on the camera, or she may not give as much live feeds as some people might want. But I'm thinking that a lot of this is nerves too. And that as she gets comfortable and more into it, more of herself will come out and you'll see, the kind of person that she is, very assertive, which also may get her in trouble too. So, I mean, I like Haley, but her dominance may get her in trouble, if that makes sense. As far as being a fan goes, I don't know where her fandom stands.
Haley's profile is the classic physical anchor with a developing social read. Initial jury perception, built like a tank. Immediate competitor label, respect, caution. If she's quieter on camera, jurors may read her as steady, not flashy. That can age well if she has receipts later. Core risk, preemptive targeting. Strong bodies get clipped before they can explain themselves. Assertiveness without warmth becomes intimidation, and juries punish that. What she's doing right, getting in with the right people early. This is insulation. Not overexposing herself in week one. Nerves can actually help keep her under the radar. What she's doing wrong, potential. If she waits too long to show personality, she becomes opaque, hard for jurors to credit. Leaning into dominance too early paints a target without the shield of relationships. Jury pathway, how she gets your vote. Pair strength with selective vulnerability. A few personal bonds where people feel they know her. Win when it matters, not often. Timed comps that protect allies or flip momentum. Have clear protection moments. She kept X safe, she stabilized Y group. Red flags to watch. Being the default nominee once numbers shrink. A quiet week turning into she hasn't done anything by mid-game. Conflicts where she's right but comes off unapproachable. Best case arc, early, integrate socially, keep the threat muted. Mid, become a reliable shield others choose to keep. Late, 2 to 3 decisive wins, visible loyalty converts respect into votes. Bottom line. Right now, high respect ceiling, medium social risk. If she layers warmth over that physical presence and times her wins, she's a legitimate contender. If she leans into dominance without the relationships, she's an early mid-game target.
Okay, hard to argue that one. Let's move on to our next one, Jason DePoy. Jason uh, has a little bit of celebrity about him as he is a RuPaul drag racer. He's familiar with the reality TV scene and he's been around the block. I think he was mentioned on an All-Star season, so he's something. I don't think he's won, but he's good, or he's in the let's call it in the family, so to speak, the reality TV family. But he came in as a newbie, so that's something to be said. And I don't know if anybody exactly knows that he's a performer on RuPaul or not. So there's that going for him. And Jason is someone who won safety. Out of the three people that won safety this week, he is the second person that has won safety. Jason, I would like to think, is one of those kinds of people that will be good during the boring downtime of the house when things aren't really going on. And, just from his natural, personality. But, I'm also thinking that, That's his job, to be on like that. So, I mean, is this does he look at it like work? This because there is no off switch here on this game. It's live feeds, it's 24 hours, it's 90 days. We'll have to see how it goes. I mean, if anybody's going to make it, I think it'll be him, but what do you think?
Jason's a high-skill, high-variance piece. Initial jury perception, reality TV vet, even if undisclosed, polished, camera-aware, safety win plus personality equals valuable socially, slightly dangerous strategically. Core risk, performer versus person problem. If the house feels like they're getting a show, not the real Jason, trust erodes. Energy management. 90 days with no off switch exposes cracks. Burnout or slips become narrative. What he's doing right, safety equals perfect runway to build bonds without pressure. Likely strong in downtime, can become the social glue people want around. What he's doing wrong, potential, over-curating interactions, reads as inauthentic, letting charm substitute for structure, lots of connections, no anchors. Jury pathway, how he gets your vote. Convert charisma into loyalty loops. 2 to 3 people who will vouch for him in jury. Show intentional restraint. Moments where he doesn't perform, just listens. Deliver one visible strategic pivot, flip protection or information play that people can credit. Red flags to watch. Being everyone's friend but no one's priority. Getting tagged early as threatening socially. Easy mid-game target. Late game pitch sounding like a recap of vibes, not moves. Best case arc, early. Social hub with genuine feeling bonds. Mid-connector who brokers trust between groups. Late, reveals he's been steering information and cashes it with a clean move. Bottom line. Right now, excellent runway with built-in likability. If he balances performance with authenticity and pins a few creditable moves, he's a real winner candidate. If it feels like an act, juries will clap and vote for someone else.
Okay, let's move on to the next person. This is very interesting, I think, and it is Camus. So we've got Camus Kirk. I'm going to call him the captain just for the joke, right? Captain Kirk. But Camus, in all seriousness, is an MMA fighter. I think he's a current MMA fighter, or he's recently retired, uh, whichever. Camus. He's relatively young, and he's very fit. He's probably the most physically imposing person on the squad, even more so than the 6'6" Barrett or the incredibly muscular Chuck, only because of his physical background. He doesn't plan on disclosing it, however, and I don't remember if he's a fan. Yeah, I think he's a moderate fan where he's watched a few seasons, so he's familiar enough. He's familiar enough to know kind of what to look for, but not enough to where he might feel constraint, to the way the game is supposed to be played, if that makes any sense. I kind of like his chances, and uh, I'm trying to think, Camus. I don't believe. Yes, I do believe that he is another person who won safety this week. So no, he's not. Never mind. Camus did not win safety. He could very well be on the block. The only problem, though, is that it's been revealed that D, the Survivor champion, is revealed to be the last returnee to participate in this season. And she will most likely, because it's only going to be the 3 returnees, her, Devins, and Angela, competing for HOH. D could very well win HOH, and Camus is D's type. And D has no problem with a showmance. She's known for it. So Camus, I mean, I like his chances, but he may look to be such a threat that they'll get him out early. What do you think about Camus? I probably went on a little long, but what do you think?
Camus a class Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Please go on.
That's the full read on Camus. Nothing to add unless you want to drill into a specific angle. D-interaction, showmance risk, or early nomination scenarios. Keep it moving.
Oh, please tell us your full assessment on Camus from anything that you might want to add regarding Camus.
Here's the full no-nonsense profile on Camus. Archetype, undercover physical threat with just enough game awareness to be dangerous. Not a robot superfan, which actually helps. He can adapt to people, not scripts. Immediate house read. Even if he hides MMA, people will feel it. Calm, controlled, doesn't panic. That reads as confidence, which in Big Brother often translates to he's a problem later. Big fork in his game, this matters most. He has to choose early, consciously or not. Path A, integrate. Talks, bonds, shares just enough. Becomes one of us who happens to be strong. Harder to nominate early. Path B, stay too low. Minimal ties, minimal presence. Becomes the default pawn target because he's strong and expendable. Right now, based on what you said, he's flirting with Path B. That's dangerous. D angle, this is a real lever. With D Valadares in the mix, if she wins HOH and pulls him in, short-term shield, but that can quickly become he's her number, or worse, he's her weapon. If a showmance forms, early protection, mid, giant flashing target. Jury depends if he looks like an equal or an accessory. Jury perception, this is where games are won, lost. Right now, jurors would say, strong, composed, didn't really know where he stood early. That's neutral, not winning. To win a jury, he needs. People saying, open quote, he chose when to strike. He wasn't just strong, he was aware. Close quote. What he must do, non-negotiable. 1. Lock 2 real relationships immediately. Not surface level. People who will vouch for him later. 2. Show a little personality. Not performance, just enough so he's not a mystery. Lose on purpose at least once, if he's in position. Winning too early equals target. 4. One visible mid-game decision. Not dominance, timing. Biggest danger, he gets labelled without doing anything. Open quote, he's strong, he'll win later, get him out now. Close quote, that sentence has ended a lot of players exactly like him. Ceiling versus floor, ceiling. Late game killer who times comps and gets respect votes. Floor, week 2-4 boot because we had to take the shot. Bottom line, Camus doesn't lose because of strength. He loses if he fails to convert presence into relationships early. If he survives the opening stretch with actual bonds, he becomes one of the most dangerous players in the house. That's a real contender if he plays it right.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to agree with that. I just think that the House will look at him as such a target. I mean, such a what is it called? A threat that they'll kind of just gang up on him. His social bonds are going to be everything, and I just only hope that D is able to, you know, I hope it plays out the way I'm thinking in my head. Let's move on to the next person, shall we? Now, this person is someone that I have liked from the beginning all the way through, and then even more in this episode. That is Latrice. This is Latrice Verrett, and let me tell you that what a interesting ball of sunshine. It's just very upbeat, just very, and you would think that she's the elder statesman of the house, that she would be like the mother figure of the house. I don't think she's having it, even though she is a mother and she's raised her children. She says her children are these people's age as it is that she's playing with. But I think that because she looks like them, and I think that she, sees herself as a peer more than an elder statesman. And I think that she has the physical prowess to pull that off. There's nothing to not like about Latrice, because she still, at the end of the day, is that elderly person. And whether you want to convey that or not, that's how people are going to look at you, and they'll respect the shit out of her. I just think that she'll have a good, long time in this game, And it's not until jury that they'll come around to thinking if we don't get rid of Latrice, then she beats us. She wants to be the oldest winner in all of Big Brother history. She's a fan, big fan, and big to moderate fan, and she's down, man. She's ready. What do you think about Latrice?
Latrice is one of the cleanest early to mid-game winners profiles you've described so far, but there's a trap baked into it. Initial jury perception, ball of sunshine plus life experience, trusted, respected, easy to root for. If she blends as a peer, not a parent, she avoids the house mom it calls expendable label. Core strength, emotional equity. People will feel good around her. That turns into people confiding in her, people protecting her, jurors predisposed to like her story. Core risk, this is the big one, winning too, obviously. If everyone likes you, everyone eventually realizes you beat them. Late realization equals mid to late game hit job. You said it yourself. Open quote. If we don't get rid of Latrice, she beats us. Close quote. That sentence is her biggest enemy. What she's doing right, positioning as a peer, not a parent, critical, bringing warmth without, so far, being overbearing, having a clear goal, oldest winner, that can resonate with a jury. What she's doing wrong, potential. If she leans too hard into positivity, she risks being seen as non-strategic or worse, socially dangerous but strategically invisible. Jury pathway, how she gets your vote. She already has the hardest part, likability. Now she needs 1 to 2 visible strategic decisions, guiding a vote, protecting someone, influencing direction without being loud about it. People saying, open quote, she wasn't just nice, she knew exactly what she was doing. Close quote. Red flags to watch. Becoming everyone's confidant, information sink but no agency. Being kept around as good vibes until she becomes too obvious a threat. Getting cut right before or right after jury because she's too likable. Best case arc, early. Social integration, she's already doing it. Mid, quietly shape decisions through relationships. Late, reveal she's been influencing outcomes the whole time. Bottom line. Right now, top-tier social winner potential. She doesn't need to become flashy. She just needs to prove, at least a couple times, that she's driving, not drifting. If she does that, she's dangerous at Final Two. If she doesn't, she's the classic, everyone loved her, but didn't vote for her, or she gets clipped before she can plead her case.
Okay. I mean, what can I say about that? You've assessed it pretty well, I think. Here's someone though that I think that you might have trouble with. This is Lyric. Let me tell you what I uh, found out or know about Lyric. Lyric Medeiros. First, her father was a singer and sung a cover of a very popular song in the 80s. So there's something for that. Another thing about Lyric is that she is from Hawaii and that she is also a singer. She's also an attorney, sir, and she plans on keeping that secret from the house. But because she's so talented as a singer, she plans on saying that and being able to pull that off. But she's also not just an attorney, but from what I understand, a practicing attorney. Uh, Attorneys have very good success on Big Brother, especially those that don't reveal their attorneyness. At first, her look, though, is very, she's very cute, very girl next door. But, you know, it wasn't, I've seen her archetype how many times already. So I was kind of turned off. But during the interview, when she spoke, she got my attention. And in the first episode, she really got my attention. I think she's going to integrate socially very well. She's a leader. And I think that, especially early on, people are going to gravitate to that. If she can maintain it, can she keep being that person? I don't know. But she's in the driver's seat right now, I think. And, I like Lyric. What do you think of Lyric?
Lyric is one of the more complete packages you've described, but that cuts both ways. Initial jury perception, approachable plus articulate, credible, easy to listen to. If she speaks well in rooms, jurors will remember her as someone who understood the game, not just played it. Core strength, dual identity, done right. Singer equals social cover, lowers threat. Attorney equals real edge, reading people, structuring arguments, controlling language. If she hides the attorney piece successfully, she gains a massive asymmetry advantage, core risk, leadership visibility. You said it. In the driver's seat. That's great for control, terrible for longevity if it's obvious. Also, smart plus composed women get labelled fast as she's running things. Once that sticks, it's hard to shake. What she's doing right, strong communication, people will naturally defer to her, likely forming early social bonds without friction, presenting a softer archetype than she actually is. What she's doing wrong, potential. If she leans into leadership too early, becomes visible decision maker, others get credit for taking her out, not working with her. Attorney factor, this matters a lot. If hidden, she can frame conversations, guide outcomes subtly. Jury reveal becomes a now it all makes sense moment. Powerful. If exposed early, immediate threat spike, open quote, she can argue circles around us, close quote. Jury pathway, how she gets your vote. Maintain the image of open quote, I just connected with people while actually directing outcomes quietly. Close quote. Have clean, explainable decisions at the end, not chaos, not luck, intentional moves. Red flags to watch. People start asking her, what should we do, too often? Being in the room for every decision, overexposure. Early conflict where she wins the argument, but loses the person. Best case arc, early, social integration, slight guidance. Mid, invisible hand shaping votes. Late, reveal of control plus attorney background equals coherent winning story. Bottom line. Right now, very high winner equity if she stays subtle. She doesn't lose because she's not good enough. She loses if she becomes too clearly the one in charge. If she can lead without looking like she's leading. That's a real problem for everyone else.
Okay, I see that also. Yeah, I mean, I like Lyric. Let's move on to the next person, shall we? We have Mallory. Ooh, I can tell you some stuff about Mallory Uricchio, and that is that she's a rocket scientist, and she has adopted the Kelly persona, the Kelly from last year. It's amazing. Anyway, she's very fit. She's very smart. You know, what can I say? She's a very capable person, and I kind of like her chances too. It really depends on where she comes in on the social pecking order. You know, is she going to be on the outs or is she going to be able to get in? She seems like a bubbly Kelly, so I would like to hope that she's in, but she's kind of being creepy to Lyric. You know, I love Lyric. I want to be around Lyric. I like Lyric a lot. Lyric is great. I don't know how that's going to affect things, but you know, maybe it's nothing. You know, who knows? That's Mallory. She seems very fit and capable physically. She's incredibly smart as a rocket scientist. I can see the puns a mile away, and that's Mallory. I'd like to hope that she can get in good socially, but we'll have to see. What do you think about Mallory?
Mallory's a tools-rich optics-sensitive player. Initial jury perception, rocket scientist plus bubbly, competent and pleasant. If the Kelly persona lands, jurors rear as fun and safe early. Core risk, mismatch between persona and behavior. If she says I'm easygoing but acts intense, the lyric fixation, people feel off before they can explain why. High IQ gets tagged quickly as threat once someone says it out loud. What she's doing right, using a lighter persona to mask capability, physical competence without overflexing, so far. What she's doing wrong so far, the lyric focus reads as over-eagerness, early social leak. If she mirrors too hard or hovers, she risks creeping people out and becoming an easy consensus name. Jury pathway, how she gets your vote. Make the persona consistent. Less I love you lyric intensity, more calibrated warmth. Translate brains into quiet problem solving. Help people make decisions without taking visible ownership. Deliver one clean, credited move later. Flip, save, or information play. Red flags to watch. Being labelled a lot in week 1 to 2. Someone vocalising she's really smart. Threat spike. Floating socially without a core ally to vouch for her. Best case arc. Early, smooth the edges, secure 1 to 2 real bonds. Mid, become the behind-the-scenes fixer people rely on. Late, reveal intent plus a couple of decisive moments for jury. Bottom line, right now, high capability, medium social volatility. If she dials back the intensity and aligns her persona with her behavior, she's a contender. If not, she becomes the classic smart a bit much early mid-boot.
Okay, I mean, it really does depend on how, where she is able to ingratiate herself, if she is at all. Let's move on to the next person, shall we? This is Melody, the aforementioned Melody Morris. And what I can tell you about Melody Morris is that she came across as very typical, very, uh, you know, been there, done that. But I think she's a little different. There's something more about her. The way at least she fits in with this particular cast, I think will be fine. Her confessionals were fine tonight. I mean, she got some airtime as well. Uh, she's not safe, so we'll have to see if that comes in to bite her later. But because I don't know exactly. I don't really know. She is. It's hard to say. Her profession is a uh, game show host. A game show host. When companies do their retreats, if they were to do like a game show retreat, she would be like the host of the game show, the hostess, whatever, of the game show, something like that. And she likes it. She's uh, there to win Big Brother. That's Melody to me. I don't really know much about her, but she came across as her archetype, but with more substance in the first episode. So I'm going to give that credit to her. I think she'll ingratiate herself socially. If she wants a showman, she can have one. But she made it clear in the interview that she wasn't going that route at all. So we'll see how it goes.
Melody is a presentation-first player with upside if she converts it into real bonds. Initial jury perception, game show host, polished, comfortable, reads a room. If she's steady in confessionals, jurors tag her as coherent and credible. Core strength, facilitation skills. She can keep conversations moving, make people feel included, and frame group decisions without owning them. Likely to be socially acceptable to most, which is valuable early. Core risk, generic competence. If she blends too well, she becomes fine but forgettable. If the room senses she's hosting interactions instead of participating, it reads as managed, not genuine. What she's doing right. Getting airtime without chaos, stable presence. Avoiding a forced showmance keeps her options open. What she's doing wrong, potential. Not establishing a clear lane yet, ally set, voting block, or information hub. If she's already clashing with Drew, that's an unnecessary week 1 friction jury pathway, how she gets your vote. Turn facilitation into influence. Guide conversations toward outcomes she wants. Let others feel ownership. Build 2 to 3 advocates who will speak for her in jury. Have 1 or 2 named decisions she can point to, a vote she shaped, a target she redirected. Red flags to watch. Being everyone's nice option but no one's priority. Early nomination as a safe, low blowback choice. Endgame pitch that sounds like hosting highlights instead of moves. Best case arc. Early, integrate broadly, avoid friction. Mid, become the information hub facilitator. Late, reveal she's been steering outcomes quietly. Bottom line, right now, solid floor, unclear ceiling. If she converts polish into behind-the-scenes control and locks in a few real allies, she's viable. If she stays in host mode, she risks being respected, but not rewarded.
Okay, I mean, I get that. I still want to see more from Melody, though, so the door isn't closed on her, FYI. Let's move on to that third person that did win the safety, who I mistaken earlier uh, for uh, for Camus, and that is Rome. So we have Rome. Let's see, Rome Seymour. He says in the interview that his real name is Jack, but he goes by Rome, and he's a pickleball coach, and he won the third immunity. Well deserved. He got it. Uh, Everything seems cool about the dude. I guess the only thing that and Ashley seems to be enamored with him uh, on night one, or at least she professed it. Uh, but I guess one thing that he of note is that he said he wanted to be a champion for the weaker competitors of the house, but the phrasing in which he used it uh, was interesting. He had said that betas and betas and less stands, right? Submissives, this type of language, and alphas, and that he would be he would champion the betas and submissives. So I don't know, uh, people when they hear that they're the ones being referred to in that way may take a brunge to that. I don't know. Well, what do you think about Rome? He has safety this week, so
Rome's in a good spot structurally, safety, but he just planted a messy social seed with that language. Initial jury perception, safety's coach vibe, competent, upbeat, socially active. But alpha-beta submissive talk reads as hierarchical and a bit patronizing. Core risk, labeling people. Even if he means I'll protect outsiders, the wording can make others feel talked down to. Once someone repeats that quote, it becomes, open quote, he thinks he's above us. Close quote. What he's doing right. Safety week equals runway to build bonds. Likely good at group energy. Coaching translates to rallying people. What he's doing wrong, so far. Framing himself as a protector of weaker players instead of an equal ally. Early flirtation attention. Ashley can inflate visibility before he has insulation. Jury pathway, how he gets your vote. Reframe fast. Drop the labels. Position as connector teammate, not savior. Use safety to lock 2 to 3 real allies across different pockets. Show one concrete action later. Save someone, redirect a target, so it's not just vibes. Red flags to watch. People joking about his alpha talk signals it's sticking. Becoming the center of the room too early, easy mid-game target. Being seen as all social, no strategic intent. Best case arc, early, course-correct language, build genuine bonds. Mid, bridge between groups, not above them. Late, a couple of visible protection moves to claim credit. Bottom line. Right now, good tools, avoidable optics problem. If he fixes the framing and leans into equal partnerships, he's viable. If he keeps the hierarchy talk, he gives the house an easy reason to turn on him once safety's gone.
full transparency, he hasn't said that language in front of any house guests. He was using that language when talking to or addressing us, the audience. To the house guests, being a coach, like you said, is going to allow him to connect with all kinds of different people. Uh, but also, I would think that he has that way of asserting himself as being the assertive one, and some people may not like that rub. Uh, I don't know. It depends. And if he has that language when he's talking to us, That's not to say that that language doesn't slip out when talking with others. So there's that too. That's my take on Rome. Let's move on to the next person here, and that is Taylor. That is Taylor Brown. And the thing I can tell you about Taylor is that Taylor Brown looks like a younger version of Latrice, first off. And second off, uh, she is no nonsense. Very Davon. I'm getting Davon as far as being no nonsense. And, but I'm getting a more controlled Davon. So if you can imagine, like a more, nobody has the control of Taylor Hale. But if you could give some of that Taylor Hale control to Davon, then you may end up with this Taylor. And I'm excited to see how she navigates the game. What do you think of Taylor?
Taylor looks like a disciplined first player with real win equity, if she manages optics. Initial jury perception, no nonsense, controlled, competent, principled, credible. If she communicates cleanly, jurors will see intent, not chaos. Core strength, emotional controls clarity. She won't spiral, won't overreact, can make decisions others can understand and later respect. Core risk, low warmth ceiling early, no nonsense, can read as cold or unapproachable. People may pre-label her, open quote, she's strict, she's judging me, close quote. Once that sticks, it limits who brings her information. What she's doing right, likely avoiding sloppy week one mistakes, projecting stability, which groups gravitate toward when things get messy. What she's doing wrong, potential. If she doesn't soften the edges, she'll get fewer confidence, fewer people fighting to keep her. Jury pathway, how she gets your vote. Pair control with targeted warmth. 2 to 3 people who feel she gets them. Be the person who calls the right shot at the right time. At the end, she needs jurors saying, open quote, she was calm, but she was also right, close quote. Red flags to watch, others venting, she's intense or hard to read, being left out of casual bonding, information gap, winning an argument but losing the relationship. Best case arc, early, steady, slightly reserved, mid becomes the decision stabilizer in chaotic weeks, late claims precision moves plus composure as her storyline. Bottom line, right now, high control, needs more connection. If she adds just enough warmth to match her discipline, she's a serious contender. If not, she risks being respected, but not protected.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you on that. Let's move on. I mean, it really does depend on how she fits in socially, right? Uh, because she doesn't take any BS. You can just tell. And if somebody tries to BS her, she'll call it out. Or see, but that's just it though. She I think could resist, and I think that's what might give her the difference between a win and a loss. We'll have to see. Let's move on to another person that's in here. This is the final 14. Yash Patel. No, no, no. I didn't say FBI Director Cash Patel. I said Yash. Yash Patel is the 14th person. He made the list of Big Brother. I heard he was a replacement at the very last second, that the person that they had in sequester started talking too much to too many people outside of the game, and they kicked him out. Yash came in at the last second to be the replacement. I didn't get anything from Yash. I didn't get anything from Yash in the beginning either, in the intro, and it's not his fault. If anything, I got some Jag vibes, but Jag got knocked out week 3 or whatever it was. The twist is what allowed him to come back, learn from his mistakes and win. I don't think this is going to happen for Yash. So, you know, he was my prediction to probably be the first one out. Uh, so that's my thoughts on Yash.
Yash is giving low signal, high risk early profile. Initial jury perception didn't get anything from him. Invisible. Replacement rumour if it circulates, outsider with no roots. Core risk, no anchor. Players without immediate bonds become the easiest names to say out loud. Open quote, strong enough, not connected, safe vote. Close quote. If he reads as passive, he becomes a pawn that sticks me. What he's doing right, by default, not offending anyone, not overplaying. What he's doing wrong, so far, no presence, no story, no relationships. If others can't describe his game, they won't defend it, or him. Jury pathway, how he gets your vote. He needs a hard pivot immediately. Lock one tight ally who will vouch for him. Create one visible contribution. Info share, vote steer, or social save. Then build a clear narrative. Open quote, I was underestimated early, then I started shaping things. Close quote. Red flags to watch, being mentioned as a pawn in multiple conversations, not being in rooms where decisions are forming, people saying he's nice and nothing else. Best case arc, early, survive by attaching to a small group. Mid, become a reliable number who quietly gains trust. Late, flip a spot where he's credited, not carried. Bottom line, right now, first boot profile is real. But if he secures one advocate and gets a single creditable moment in the next cycle, he can climb out of that hole. If not, he's the cleanest, lowest blowback eviction on the board.
I mean, unless there's something being shown or told that we're not aware of, the live feeds don't kick in until after Friday night locked in or unlocks episode. So we don't exactly know yet, but there's all kinds of speculation out there. That's just my opinion about Yash. Let's talk about the returnees that are coming back here then. We have one. Let's see here. Sorry, Big Brother. This is Rick Devens. So Rick Devens is somebody who's coming back to visit. This will be his first time in the Big Brother house. Here, let's just put this up here a bit. Okay, this is his first time in a Big Brother house, and he is fantastic on Survivor. You can look him up and find out all you want to about Rick Devens. I don't need to tell you anything more than you can find out for yourself. His reputation precedes him. He was just on season 50, so whatever he was in 38, he's that and more coming into this game. And he's looking forward to it. He said he was. And I'm looking forward to it too. So tell us what you think about Rick Devens, someone from Survivor crossing over into the Big Brother house. Yeah, tell us about Rick Devens going into the Big Brother house. What do you think about that?
I actually like the casting a lot. Rick Devens is one of those rare reality players who's dangerous for reasons that don't always show up on paper. He's not just a competitor. He understands how to entertain, how to read a room, and how to weaponize uncertainty. On Survivor, he made a habit of keeping people guessing and wasn't afraid to take big swings. He's already said he's coming in with ideas similar to the fake idol mind games he used before, and that he'll sell loyalty whether or not he intends to stay loyal. That said, Big Brother is a different animal. On Survivor, you can disappear for a few hours, hunt for advantages, and reset after Tribal Council. In Big Brother, you're living in the same house 24 hours a day. If you're on all the time, people eventually get tired of you. So if I'm Rick, my biggest challenge isn't strategy. it's restraint. My prediction is, if he comes in playing Rick Devons, he's an early target because everyone expects fireworks. If he spends the first 2 weeks being social, listening more than talking, and letting other people make the first mistakes, he could be very dangerous. From what I've read and from the premiere, production clearly sees him as one of the marquee additions this season. Along with Angela and the other returning reality personalities, he's positioned as a major storyline from day one. Knowing you, though, I think you'll be watching one thing above everything else, whether Rick can turn off the performer. If he can, he has a legitimate shot.
Yeah, I worry if Rick is able to, if this is how he is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because if the persona cracks, then a lot of things are on the line for Rick Devens. So, I mean, I do worry about that, but he comes across as such a genuine person on the screen. I mean, that's why he's here and that's why he's doing it. So, welcome back, Rick Devens. He just finished 50. He's just doing this now. And he knows the game of reality TV, so that's another advantage. And he'll also be coming in, and he's one of three people that's going to be competing for the HOH. Him and our next person up, Angela Murray. Angela from season 26, Chaos. She's not a game player. She doesn't play Big Brother. She she thrives in chaos, or at least that's her MO. She claims to be here to play a whole other different game. That's not her. That she's learned from her lesson and all this other stuff. But I just don't believe that. I'm sorry. What do you think about Angela Murray?
You're reading her correctly. The "I've learned, I'm different now" line is standard returnee packaging. With someone like Angela, the question isn't what she says, it's what she defaults to under pressure. Angela Murray. Here's the blunt version. Her upside: chaos players can be useful shields. Bigger targets stay because everyone thinks we can take her out later. She creates noise, and noise gives cover to smarter players. If she actually reins it in, big if, she could drift further than people expect. Her problem: chaos doesn't scale in Big Brother. In a 24/7 house, it becomes exhaustion for everyone else. Once the house agrees she's unpredictable, she becomes easy consensus eviction. I'm playing a different game. Only works if we see behavioral change immediately, not in week 3. Key tell in the first week. Watch how she handles minor friction. If she escalates small things, same Angela, early danger. If she swallows it and redirects, that's new, and that's dangerous in a different way, HOH angle. If she wins early power, high chance she overplays it. Big swings, emotional decisions. That can burn multiple bridges at once and shorten her runway, but it also can define the season tone immediately. Real expectation. She doesn't need to be a strategist to go far. She needs to be predictable enough that people delay targeting her. That's the tightrope she's never really walked. So the question for you isn't do you believe her? It's did you see even one moment tonight where she paused instead of reacting? If the answer is no, then you already know how this goes.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're right. But you know, I it would be nice to have her around, I guess, for a few weeks, just to see, whatever chaos the chaos fans get. But after that, yeah, go ahead and give me the gameplay back. And the best game player out of all of these people is the final person that we've been holding on for. And that, my friends, is former Survivor champion, confirmed in the house as the 17th house guest. Let me bring her in. This is Dee Valadares, champion of Survivor. And she is, one of the most well rounded players of Survivor that there is out there. I think that's going to translate, to this game. You know what I mean? To of Big Brother. I think that she's not above a showmance. I think Kamu is right up her alley. That's exactly her type. I That's why I alluded to earlier about how this was going to be a showmance. I think, or I'd like to see, because he really is an MMA fighter, and D is Survivor champion, and you know I can just see the match. It's Kamu D, comedy. It's Kamu D. I can't even wait. It's not even funny though, except that it is. You know who D is. Go ahead and look up D and tell me, aside from her just championship, already being a champion, what her weakness is, and what how she doesn't get to the end.
You're right to flag her as the most complete player walking in. D. Valadares. Dee's strength profile translates almost too well. Social awareness, emotional intelligence, ability to build tight bonds and keep them, willingness to cut when needed. That's a dangerous baseline in a house where most people are still figuring themselves out. But here's the problem. Big Brother punishes exactly what made her win. Her biggest weakness isn't strategy. It's visibility. On Survivor, you can dominate quietly within a smaller, shifting group. People don't always compare notes in real time. You only need to survive until the next tribal. In Big Brother, everyone talks. Constantly. Information circulates fast. If you're the center of too many relationships, it gets exposed. How she loses one, she becomes the hub too early. If multiple people feel close to her, they eventually realize, open quote, wait, she's close to everyone, close quote. That flips her from asset threat overnight. 2. Showman's risk, your Camudi theory. You're not wrong stylistically, she's not above it. But in this house, a visible duo equals immediate target. And she's the one people will fear more in that pair. So even if Kamu is the fighter, she's the brain people will aim at. True. 3. Jury management doesn't matter early. Her Survivor win leaned heavily on strong endgame perception. In Big Brother, you don't get credit for being liked early, you get punished for being too good too soon. 4. She plays clean in a messy game. D is controlled, composed, intentional. That works in Survivor. In a Big Brother house full of chaos, Angela, performers, Rick, messy players, sometimes the clean player becomes the easiest consensus threat to remove. What she has to do: throttle back early. This is everything. Pick 1 or 2 real bonds, not 5. Let louder players take heat, Angela, Rick. Avoid locking into a visible duo too soon. Your read versus reality, your instinct, open quote, she's the best player here, close quote. That's exactly the danger. Because if you see it this clearly from the couch, people living with her will feel it even faster. Bottom line, she doesn't lose because she plays badly. She loses if she plays like herself too early. If she suppresses her natural dominance for 2 weeks, she can win. If she doesn't, she's a pre-jury blindside waiting to happen. Now I'll push you on this. Based on her intro alone, did she feel like someone who can hold back, or someone who's going to naturally take control?
Well, that's just it. It's her, Angela, and Devins in the first HOH competition. Let's be honest with each other. Who do you think wins that?
If I had to make one pick before seeing the competition, I'd actually rank them like this. First, D. Valadares. Second, Rick Devens. Third, here's why. D has the best combination of physical ability, composure, and competitive instinct. She doesn't usually let the moment get bigger than the task. Survivor winners are used to performing under pressure, and that translates well to a first-night competition. Rick is absolutely capable of winning, but I wonder if he'll be processing too much. He's entering a brand new game with everyone watching him. Sometimes players like Rick are so aware of the strategic implications of winning that it can affect how they approach the competition. Angela is the wild card. She could surprise everyone. But historically, she's been driven more by emotion than by controlled execution. If it's a straightforward physical or puzzle challenge, I'd favour Dee or Rick over her. Ironically, though, if I were Dee, I might not want to win. Winning the very first HOH paints a giant target on the back of someone who is already entering the house with a championship reputation. If she can survive week one without exposing her full ability, that might actually be the stronger long-term game. So my prediction would be Dee is the favourite to win. Rick is the person I'd be least surprised to intentionally dial it back if he thinks winning creates more problems than it solves. Angela is the one most likely to go all out because she wants to redefine how people see her. I am curious to see whether Rick and Dee think the same way about early power. Survivor players often understand something many first-time Big Brother players don't. Sometimes the best move is not to win the first battle.
I probably agree with that too, except that Rick, Dee, or Angela must win the first HOH. And Angela won the first HOH in her initial season, and it jump started her entire "Hi, I'm Angela." And the people that love her loved her right from the beginning because that's when she can, being in a position of power gave her such a mindset in the game. It was just, I don't know, it's hard to describe, I guess. You have to look it up and take a look at it. But yeah, so I find that interesting. Dee and Devins, I mean, do they want to win? Do they want to be able to call the shots early on? Yeah, I would think so. Uh, especially if Dee is able to set up something with, you know, her, if she's able to set her team up with a week one HOH win, then, you know, people that are fans, people that would want to work with her, people that, they'll be shields for each other and just pass around the HOHs. That's the mindset. That's why I said Camus.
You're thinking like a builder. Lock week one, stack numbers, rotate power. That's clean on paper. Big Brother usually punishes it when it's too clean, too early. Let's tighten the read on the three. Angela Murray. Wants it? Yes. She benefits the most from early power. If she wins, big loud HOH. Clear targets, fast lines drawn. Result, great TV, but it accelerates the house against her. Short runway. Wants it? Strategically. No. Ego spotlight, maybe. If he wins, likely makes a safe move while trying to look harmless. Risk. Even a safe HOH still tags him as a known quantity. Heat sticks. Wants it? Probably not, but she's capable of taking it anyway. If she wins, controlled, tidy week, tries to build a core. Risk, you're past the HOH idea, exposes the core immediately. Others compare notes and say, we're not in it. The part your plan runs into week one is when everyone is paranoid and uncommitted. If D locks a group and signals it, even subtly, the outsiders don't sit back, they coalesce fast. You end up with a house split before you've earned trust. What actually works early? Keep the structure loose and deniable. Let louder players, Angela, Rick, take the first wave of attention. Build 1 to 2 real bonds, not a visible alliance of 5. So who wins? If they all try, D is still the best bet on execution alone. Rick is close if it's puzzles mental under pressure. Angela wins if it's chaotic nerve-based and she rides the moment. But the sharper question isn't who can win, it's who shouldn't. Angela should. It's her only way to set terms. Rick should avoid. Target inflation. D must avoid if she wants longevity. Your Camus D angle. Fine as a low visibility flirtation. The second it looks like a duo, the house trims it, and she's the head they go for first. Bottom line, early HOH is gasoline. Angela needs it. Rick can survive it.
Yeah, I can't. I mean when you write it out on paper, when you write the book on how to play Big Brother, that's exactly it. It just it becomes a different animal though when you're in the moment of the situation as it's happening and unfolding in front of you. And I think it's how you handle that what'll determine, if people will want to maybe give you their vote at the end of it all.
Correct. The book is clean, the house is not. Big Brother rewards execution under chaos, not perfect plans. What separates finalists from early targets is how they manage perception in real time. Control versus credit. Do the work, let others think they're driving. Taking visible credit too early is lethal. Temperature reading. Adjust to the room daily. The best players pivot without announcing a pivot. Damage control. Small fires happen every day. Putting them out quietly matters more than big moves. Timing. The same move wins in week 8 and loses in week 1. Jury seeding. People decide how they feel about you long before finale night. Every interaction is a deposit or withdrawal. That's why early HOH is tricky. It gives control, but it also locks your identity in the house before you understand it. Players who last tend to look ordinary early, then tighten the screws later. So your instinct is right. It's less, did they follow the book, and more, did they handle the moment without inflating their threat level?
See, and that's the tightrope they all play on. Thank you very much for talking with me today about jury management and the direction of how things are going. If you could, Big Brother, please give us a good closing, for our channel, and maybe a a title and where to see us next time and stuff.
Here's a clean, ready-to-use outro for the hot mic. Title, Big Brother 28 premiere, breakdown first impressions, first targets, first mistakes. Closing outro script. And just like that, the game is underway. 17 house guests, 3 returners, 1, and already the lines are starting to form, whether they realize it or not. We talked jury management tonight, we talked early power, and we talked about that tightrope every single player is walking from day one. Because in Entity TV show Big Brother, US really Big Brother tease about playing the right game at the right time. Keep your eyes on the quiet players. Watch who's talking too much. And most importantly, watch who's not being talked about at all. That's where your real danger usually sits. We'll be back next time breaking down the fallout from this first HOH. Who's safe, who's in trouble, and who just made a mistake they don't even know about yet. This is the hot mic, where if it's said, it's heard. We'll see you next episode. If you want, I can tighten it to 20 to 30 seconds for a punchier version, or make a more dramatic TV-style close.
Okay, and that sounds fantastic, sir. All right. Have a. The only thing I guess I would say is tighten up. Just kidding. Anyway, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode of Jury Management. Have a good night, everyone. Later.